can go live like this. Welcome to Signature TV News. I'm Charles Pius. In the headlines, Finance Minister presents cost implications of new national minimum wage to the President. House of Representatives to probe land allocation in the FCT. South Africa's ANC meets to decide on preferred partners. U.S. soldier goes on trial in Russia for threatening to kill girlfriend. And in sports, ex-Rangers players visit family of late colleague. Details after the break. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Edun, has presented the projected cost implications of implementing a new national minimum wage to President Bola Tinubu. Accompanied by the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Atiku Bagudu, Edun delivered the cost analysis to President Tinubu at the presidential villa in Abuja. After the meeting, Edun confirmed the submission to State House correspondents, reassuring the public that there is no cause for alarm. Edun's submission came in response to a 48-hour ultimatum issued by President Tinubu on Tuesday during a meeting with the government's negotiation team on the new minimum wage led by Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume. The meeting also included the Ministers of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Labour and Information, along with the Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited. This development follows a nationwide strike by organized labour, including the Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress, which demanded an increased minimum wage and a reversal of the recently increased electricity tariffs. The strike was suspended on Tuesday for 5 days after labor union leaders and the federal government agreed to resume negotiations and finalize a new minimum wage within a week. The symbolic presidential pronouncement of May 29, 2023, "Subsidy is gone," has remained a talking point for some time now, which is not ending anytime soon. The controversy came to light again following recent media reports insinuating that the federal government has made provisions of 5.4 trillion naira for fuel subsidy payments in the 2024 budget, which has now been denied by Special Presidential Advisor Bayo Onanuga. Signature TV in this report delves into the unending controversy surrounding the removal subsidy. In his inaugural speech on May 29, 2023, President Tinubu announced the removal of fuel subsidy.
The fresh subsidy is gone.
That singular pronouncement has led to the sharp inflation increase of over 33%, with food inflation reaching 40%, pushing basic necessities out of reach for many Nigerians. This policy change has remained contentious, with ongoing debate and unclear communication from the presidency regarding the subsidy payments. In February 2024, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, confirmed that Nigeria had covertly reinstated the subsidy, contrary to its directive to eliminate all subsidies to free up funds for government operations. Among the visible fallout of the subsidy removal is the continuous rise in the fuel prices, which surged from 185 naira per litre to 400 naira per litre and eventually to over 800 naira per litre. At the moment, the commodity is selling over 800 naira a litre in many parts of the country. Although the government indicated that prices would fluctuate post-subsidy removal, fuel prices have consistently risen, even as global crude oil prices fluctuate. A Signature TV investigation in September revealed that despite President Tinubu's assurances that the subsidy was abolished, the federal government paid 169.4 billion naira as a subsidy in August to maintain the pump price at 620 naira per litre. Documents from the Federal Accounts Allocation Committee, FAAC, showed that in August 2023, Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas, NLNG, paid $275 million as dividends to Nigeria via NNPC Limited. Out of this, NNPC used $220 million, that's about 169.4 billion naira at 770 naira to a dollar, to cover the PMS subsidy and held back $55 million illegally. Despite continuous denials from the federal government about reinstating the subsidy, Nigerian Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy, Edun, disclosed in a report titled Accelerated Stabilization and Advancement Plan, ASAP, that the fuel subsidy is projected to hit 5.4 trillion naira this year. This disclosure, presented to President Bola Tinubu on June 4th, 2024, included an executive order to support the plan. However, the presidency has strongly refuted these claims. In a statement on Thursday, Bayo Onanuga, the special advisor on information and strategy to the president, dismissed the documents as unofficial and policy proposals still under review, urging the public and media to disregard them. This has fueled further speculation about potential confusion within the presidency regarding the fuel subsidy issue. Edun, a public affairs analyst, says the presidents really have no choice over payments of subsidy.
The truth of the matter is that I must commend the boldness of the President Tinubu, firstly of saying he wants to remove subsidy. But the situation on ground overwhelming him. He cannot manage the situation. He must pay that thing he's paying. They must secretly pay that thing they're paying. Because if you don't do that, the challenges in the country will get out of hand. As it has already gotten out of hand. You just feel homes that can survive to feed 2 times daily because of our economic situation. And it was orchestrated by the removal of the first subsidy, the floating of the naira, and the president tried to do unification of foreign exchange without knowing that the economy is already depleted. You can see what was happening with the exchange of dollar. You saw we have the sustainability like about 3 weeks ago. And what was happening is that the federal government was paying through our foreign reserve.
He also noted that the government, in more ways than one, should be intentional in stimulating the economy through productivity and manufacturing.
What I feel we need to do, like I used to say it everywhere, our economy is not a producing economy. And there's no how you can move forward with this kind of economy. We should make this economy a competitive one. A competitive one that there is no hand that will be idle. Every hand in Nigeria must be working, must be producing something to contribute to the growth of the economy. So we must build a competitive economy. That is where it should start. Don't see what the federal government is doing. They're distributing money to people, giving people money, dashing money. Government is not a Father Christmas. You don't give free money to people. If you want to do social empowerment, you must engage those people, train them on skills. After a period of time, you give them funds, monitor them to see that they are utilizing those things. With that, those persons can become employers of labor. They will contribute to the development of the economy. All this money we are spending, throwing around for frivolities, it should be used to build skill acquisition centers, not political skill acquisition centers where you use for political patronage. People in government should be intentional and should be intentional about developing the country. It's when you are intentional, not just coming to amass wealth, that you can meaningfully empower somebody. It just boils down to what I used to say, that it just looks like what we have in Nigeria is transitional leaders, because they don't think for tomorrow. They just think about what they can gain in return. If you are a transformational leader, you think about the future to come, the direction to come.
The ongoing debate and unclear communication from the presidency highlights the need for transparency and decisive action to address the economic challenges faced by Nigerians. The public continues to await clarity and effective measures to mitigate the adverse effects of these policy shifts. The House of Representatives on Thursday resolved to investigate the alleged fraudulent allocations of title documents to some real estate developers in the Federal Capital Territory. The resolution of the House followed the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance moved by the member representing Karu, Kefi, Kokona Federal Constituency, Nasarawa State, Jonathan Wefwi. Moving the motion, Wefwi wondered why or how the Director of Lands or any official of the Federal Capital Territory Development Administration issued the rights of occupancy, purportedly in the name of the FCT minister at a time when the office of the minister was vacant. He observed that some of the beneficiaries of the alleged fraudulent allocations are already using them to forcibly grab disputed land, which he said is a recipe for conflict, insisting that the title documents of any such land that were fraudulently issued or procured should not stand in the interest of the public. The Deputy Speaker, Benjamin Kalu, who presided over plenary in the absence of the Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas directed the Committee on FCT to investigate all allocations of land in the name of the FCT minister between January and August 2023. The Bauchi government says the ongoing demolition of illegal makeshift structures would enhance security network in the state capital. The Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Abdulmumin Bununu, in a news conference on Thursday said the exercise was prompted by credible intelligence on activities of criminal elements hibernating in some of the structures on the roadside and other strategic locations in the metropolis. Also speaking, Amina Katungum, the Commissioner for Land and Survey, said this Governor Bala Mohammed had directed the relocation of the affected businesses to a designated area to continue with their businesses. While soliciting support for government's programs, Katagum said the exercise would address security challenges in the state. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general elections and the principal mentor of the obedience movement in Nigeria, Peter Obi, says the group is beyond the political party. According to Obi, the membership of the obedience movement cuts across political parties, sex, tribe, religion, or geopolitical area, saying that the driving force of the body is rescuing and building a new Nigeria that is possible. Writing in his X platform, Obi said the obedience movement is not a directorate in any particular political party, and that no individual or individuals claiming to be leaders of the non-existent directorate are simply not members of the broader obedience movement. The former Anambra State Governor said obedient movement is far beyond a particular political party, saying it is a diverse and inclusive collective that transcends traditional political, religious, and ethnic affiliations. The movement, he added, is not domiciled within any particular party or headquartered in any particular party of the country, as its membership spans across Africa and the globe, comprising individuals from various backgrounds, including rural communities, public, private, and corporate entities, united by a shared vision for a new and a better Nigeria. The Nigerian Railway Corporation, NRC, has revealed that the technical hitch experienced on the Abuja-Kaduna train routes on Wednesday evening was due to the removal of the track fastening clips by vandals. A statement signed by the Deputy Director of Public Relations, Yakub Mahmoud, explained that the vandals had removed the track fastening clips, which led to the derailment at the Asham railway station in Kaduna State. The statement adds that the NRC management remains resolute towards ensuring the safety of our valued passengers in the entire system. Recall that a train traveling from Abuja to Kaduna derailed at Asha station, which left many passengers stranded in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Mahmoud, however, said that all passengers on board were safely returned to Abuja and that their tickets remain valid for a subsequent journey within 2 weeks. The NRC management also apologized for the inconvenience caused, assuring that it remained committed to ensuring the safety of its passengers. The Pension Fund Operators Association of Nigeria, PENOP, has recommended inflation-indexed bonds for investment of pension assets to hedge against devaluation of the assets. According to PENOP, issuing inflation-indexed bonds will also protect the savings of the country from inflation and devaluation. Speaking during the fourth PENOP National Assembly retreat organized for members of the House Committee on Pensions and members of the Senate Committee on Establishment of Public Service in Lagos, a member of the PENOP, Dave Oduanu, a member of PENOP, said that the practice is carried out by governments in some countries across the world to track inflation rate. Oduanu stated that in other countries there were bonds that governments issued where the coupon tracks inflation rate and indexed at inflation plus 2%, such that when inflation is 14%, the bond will yield 16%. Government, he said, can create more infrastructure funds to invest in pension assets as real estate assets can hedge against inflation. Some migration stakeholders have underscored the need for positive collaboration among actors to enhance migration grievance governance and management in Nigeria. They expressed this view at a two-day technical working group workshop on migration and development in Abuja on Wednesday. The Federal Commissioner, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Tijani Ahmed, said the aim of the meeting was to update the group on the progress of the National Migration Policy Review. Ahmed explained that the goal was to initiate and ensure a unified and effective national migration policy review. He also said that the Commission intended to expand the review scope by identifying emerging migration trends, challenges, and opportunities that might not have been adequately addressed in the initial review plan.
The objective of this technical working group meeting are in fourfold. 1. We aim to update the technical working group on the progress of the National Migration Policy Review so far. This includes sharing insights gained from the inception meeting and the capacity building workshop. Your awareness and understanding of our journey so far are crucial for informed decisions. We seek your valuable inputs, feedback, and recommendations. By engaging with the United Nations Network on Migration Country Team and drawing from your collective expertise, we aim to create a well-informed and inclusive review process. Your contributions will help us shape a policy that addresses the needs and challenges of the stakeholders. The world is constantly changing, and our policies must adapt to these changes to remain effective and efficient.
The German ambassador, Annette Günther, said that Germany was committed to safe, orderly and regular migration. Günther was represented by Roli Uku, Desk Officer, Migration, Press and Communication. According to her, a review of the national migration policy is proof of the commitment of the Nigerian government to capture new realities arising from the implementation of the policy in the last 8 years.
Nigeria, as we all know, is characterized as all three: a country of origin, transit, and destination, and since 2015 has implemented its national migration policy as reference to all stakeholders across tiers of migration management, including issues of human rights, migrant remittances, and challenges of return and reintegration of migrants, amongst others, and its contribution to national development. Migration is neither bad nor new. It has always existed. However, migrating through irregular routes and the resulting dangers such as migrant smuggling, human trafficking, and disinformation about the opportunities abroad are the problem.
The director of Enugu State Fire Service, Ogodiri Oha, has described the widely reported fire outbreak at the Kenyatta Timber Markets, Enugu, as false. Oha, who spoke to Signature TV off camera, said no such incident happened in the market and that his men never went to the market on account of any fire outbreak as falsely reported in the media. A visit to the market also indicated that no such incident happened in the market, as traders who spoke to our crew stated that there was no incident in the timber market. A trader who pleaded anonymity, however, revealed that one of the machines at the timber market caught fire and was quickly put out, and that it did not escalate or lead to any shop being burnt. Still to come, South Africa's ANC meets to decide on preferred partners. Join us for details and more after the break. Leaders of the African National Congress, ANC, began talks on Thursday to try to agree on potential partners to form a new South African government after the ANC lost its parliamentary majority for the first time in the democratic era. The former liberation movement, which has run South Africa since it swept to power with Nelson Mandela at the helm in the 1994 election that marked the end of apartheid, was punished for its checkered record in last week's election. Though it remains the largest party, the ANC can no longer govern alone and has signaled that it would seek to form a government of national unity with a wide range of parties. The stakes are high for South Africa, which has been struggling with sluggish economic growth, high levels of poverty and unemployment, a persistent racial wealth divides, severe power shortages, and political corruption. Military vehicles and soldiers arrived for final D-Day rehearsals as the sun rose on the beach of Arromanches Bains in Normandy on Thursday as part of ceremonies to mark the 80th anniversary of the D-Day landings. Britain's King Charles expressed his profound sense of gratitude to veterans who fought during the Normandy landings by Allied forces during World War II during a ceremony to commemorate the historic operation. Speaking to an audience of veterans and world leaders at the British Memorial in Versailles, Normandy Charles said it was the current generation's duty to remember the bravery and stories of the diminishing number of those who took part. He also spoke of his pride at Britain's permanent memorial close to the beaches that saw history's largest amphibious invasion in which thousands of Allied soldiers died. The D-Day landing saw more than 150,000 Allied soldiers arrive in France by sea and air on June 6, 1944, to drive out the forces of Nazi Germany. China says it is committed to promoting talks for peace and facilitating a political settlement of the Ukraine crisis in its own way. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Mao Ning made the remarks on Thursday in response to the visit to China by First Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, Andriy Sybiha, and the upcoming Ukraine Peace Summit in Switzerland. The foreign ministries of China and Ukraine had a consultation in Beijing and exchanged views on bilateral relations and the Ukraine crisis, among other issues. He referred to the information released by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for more details, saying the Peace Summit in Switzerland have been repeatedly elaborating on China's position. Mao said China will continue working in its own way to promote peace talks and work with all sides to create more conditions for a political settlement of the Ukraine crisis. A U.S. soldier, Gordon Black, stationed in South Korea but detained in Russia on suspicion of stealing from his girlfriend and threatening to kill her, went on trial on Thursday. Black was detained on May 2nd in Vladivostok in Russia's Far East on suspicion of stealing from his Russian girlfriend. Citing local prosecutors, Russian independent media reported he had also subsequently been charged with threatening to kill her. Black, a U.S. Army staff sergeant posted at Camp Humphreys outside Seoul, pleaded guilty to theft in May. As his trial is in Vladivostok began, Black said he understood the charges against him and agreed to testify. When the judge asked if he admitted guilt, he was quoted as saying he would enter a plea later. The Interior Ministry said Black had met the Russian woman in South Korea and later traveled to Vladivostok to be with her. Testifying in court on Thursday, Black's girlfriend Alexandra Vasyuk said he had frequent outbursts of aggression and also had run-ins with Russian police prior to his detention. Russian President Vladimir Putin and Bolivian President Luis Arce met on Thursday on the sidelines of the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. Putin is expected to conduct bilateral meetings with several representatives of foreign countries who are at the annual event in Russia's second largest city. The Russian president is due to address a plenary session of the St. Petersburg Economic Forum on Friday. And elsewhere in Spain, Spain's Coast Guard on Thursday said 516 migrants had been rescued overnight off the coast of the Canary Islands. They were traveling from North Africa in 5 wooden boats and were taken by the Coast Guards to the islands of Tenerife, El Hierro, and Gran Canaria. At Gran Canaria port of Anguiniguin, 159, including 8 women, 159 men and 2 children aged 1 and 10, disembarked and were attended by the Red Cross. Compared to 2023, the Canary Islands has seen an increase in arrivals over the same period. This year, Interior Ministry data shows. Still to come, ex-Rangers veterans mourn fallen colleague. This and more sports stories after the break. Former Super Eagles captain Christian Chukwu on Thursday led ex-Rangers veterans on a condolence visit to the family of their late colleague Stanley Okoronkwo, who passed on earlier this week. Signature TV correspondent Ebenezer Odo, who was at the Enugu residence of the ex-Ranger player, caught up with the ex-superstars.
The football legends who accompanied Captain Christian Chukwu on the visit were ex-Rangers veteran goalkeeper Emmanuel Okala and ex-Rangers megastar Dr. Johnny Ebonu. The football legends were received by the wife of their fallen colleague, Ifeoma Okoronkwo. Veteran goalkeeper Emmanuel Okala told Mrs. Okoronkwo that late Stanley Okoronkwo's death is not only a loss to her, but to his colleagues and football fans in Nigeria. Okala noted that late Stanley Okoronkwo was a star midfielder who joined them from the defunct Vasco da Gama Football Club of Enugu to become notable, adding that he contributed to their winning many victories as a team.
Stanley was a beautiful player. He did remarkable play for Rangers International. Because I really remember Zambia, when we went to Zambia, we were being beaten 3-2. And if we managed to draw the game towards the dying minute, we had a pressure on them, on their area. If we managed to draw the game, we qualify because we already beaten them. We played 1-1 in Nigeria. So those days, away goals counts for double. So he took one ball, dying minute, took it to the flank. Their head of state, Kenneth Kaunda, was in the stadium, and he pulled it out. Fell out of the field. From nowhere, Francis Imo's German wall did a diving header inside the net. That was the greatest day outing of his outing I saw in my life. Plus all other ones, all the lotteries we won those days, he was involved.
Ex-Rangers veteran and captain of the Super Eagles, Christian Chukwu, described the exit of late Stanley Okoronkwo as a great loss, pointing out that he is yet to recover from the shock. He said that their fallen colleague will be given a befitting burial as governor of Anambra State. Soludo is solidly behind them.
It's a long story between me and Stanley, so it's not something I can sit here and start narrating.
Others who condole the family were ex-Rangers veteran Dr. Johnny Ebonu and Ogechukwu Ajuze, a friend of the family.
Encourage her to take it lightly. That is where the world is. We are all very much worried, almost afraid of what happened because there was no long illness involved. And this is our colleague, a very good friend, and a very, very good footballer. We played with him. We know his worth.
We have had a very intimate relationship that anytime I come into Enugu, I always make it a point of duty to see him. I saw him last about 3 weeks earlier before his death. And he invited me to his house. He said I must come, that it's been a long time that we met together. I went to his house. We spent the whole day on that particular day, had drinks and ate.
Veteran goalkeeper Victor Oko, earlier in an interview with Signature TV News, described late Stanley as a master dribbler who was known for his neatness and quietness.
Most of these our elderly legends should be looked after. The government should really look inwards to know what to do with the now that are living. What somebody gets when he's living is better than the making noise when he's dead. Whatever you give to them is just for their living. But I'm quite sure if Stanley had more help, he could have lived more than this. Because we know he had issues. He was in hospital for some time, maybe for a week before he died.
Chairman, ex-Rangers International Footballers Cooperative, Pastor Augustine Igwokolo, in his tribute, described late Stanley Okoronkwo as a great midfielder the country produced. He spoke more on the need for governments of the Southeast Zone to help ex-Rangers veterans who spent their youthful years to promote the region.
It's not really easy. It was a great shock. Not that they told me. That was on a Sunday, on the 2nd of June. I was at the hospital myself to see him, but I never knew he has passed on, only for me to get to that hospital and discover that he's no more.
Late Stanley Okoronkwo died this week at the Eastern Nigeria Medical Center, Enugu, after a brief illness. In Enugu, Ebenezer Odo, Signature TV News.
Advanced to the semi-final stage in the 2024 President Federation Cup after a 5-4 victory over Sokoto United following a penalty shootout. The match, which was played at the FIFA Goal Project football pitch of the Moshood Abiola International Stadium in Abuja, saw Abia Warriors FC dominate the first half of the game. This paid off in the 25th minute when Adama Kizito of Sokoto United stopped a corner kick with his hand, giving the Abia side a penalty which Prince Okorie converted. Sokoto United FC later came into the game in the second half, and their efforts paid off in the 76 minutes when Shehu Garba scored the equalizer, leaving both sides to work extra hard to outwit each other, but the game ended 1-1 apiece and penalties. Speaking after the match, coach Ike Shorumu of Abia Warriors FC, who expressed happiness over his team's performance, said the coaching crew deserved commendation for a job well done. Umar Mohammed, general manager of Sokoto FC, also described his team's performance as fantastic in spite of the loss to their opponent. In another quarter-final game, the fairy tale of Inter Lagos FC came to an end as NNL side El Kanemi Warriors FC of Maiduguri won 2-1, while Keppi United FC defeated EFCC FC after a 4-3 penalty shootout after it ended goalless in regulation time, with Kano Pillars FC edging out Sunshine Stars FC 5-3 on penalties. Abia Warriors will confront Kano Pillars in the semi-finals match on June 19th. World Cup champion Lionel Messi is back in training with the Argentinian national team as they enter the final phase of their preparations for the 2024 Copa America. The team is gearing up for friendly matches against Ecuador and Guatemala, sharpening their skills and solidifying their strategy. Joining Messi on the field included Julian Alvarez, known for his speed and precision, who is expected to be a key player in the upcoming matches. Angel Di Maria, another forward with a wealth of experience, and Lautaro Martinez, a formidable striker, will be looking to add to his goal tally. Messi, the team's captain and talisman, seemed in high spirits during the training sessions after seen joking around with his teammates. His positive attitude and leadership are vital as Argentina aims to add another Copa America title to its illustrious history. With a blend of seasoned veterans and emerging talents, Argentina is poised to make a strong showing in the 2024 Copa America. The upcoming friendlies against Ecuador and Guatemala will be crucial in fine-tuning the performance ahead of the tournament. And elsewhere, 10 cities have been chosen as host cities for the Euro 2024, with Berlin's Olympic Stadium hosting the final. Home to Hertha Berlin, the Olympic Stadium is the tournament's biggest venue, boasting a capacity of 17,000. It has hosted every DFB Pokal final since 1985, as well as several high-profile games on the continent and international stage. Berlin hosted the 2006 World Cup final between Italy and France, and 9 years later, Barcelona beat Juventus to win the 2015 Champions League title. Apart from the final, the Olympic Stadium will stage 3 group stage matches, a round of 16 tie and a quarter-final. The stadium was reconstructed to stage matches at the 2006 World Cup and since 2010 has been the regular venue for Germany's Women's Cup final, as well as hosting American football, ice hockey, and music concerts. This will be the first major soccer tournament to be held solely in Germany since the 2006 World Cup, which sparked a wave of enthusiasm across the country and is fondly remembered as the summer fairy tale. The 2024 European Championship will take place from June 14th to July 14th, 2024, with 24 European teams taking part in its 17th edition of the tournament. Munich, Dusseldorf, Hamburg, Gelsenkirchen, and Leipzig will also host matches. And that's the news this hour. I'm Charles Pius. Thanks for watching.